Did you know that cat whiskers are not just a facial decoration, but a true high-precision instrument that works as a navigation system, radar, and even a seismograph? These amazing sensory organs, which scientists call vibrissae, allow cats to determine distances with millimeter accuracy, pass through narrow openings, and even predict earthquakes. Today we will dive into the amazing world of cat whiskers and learn how these thin hairs help our furry friends navigate in space. Before we reveal all the secrets of cat vibrissae, write in the comments if you have noticed how your cat uses whiskers while hunting or exploring new objects. Perhaps you have observed how it carefully measures a passage before squeezing through. Your observations will help us form a more complete picture of how cats use their whiskers in everyday life. In the meantime, make yourself comfortable. Understanding how your cat's vibrissae work will help you not only better understand its behavior, but also create more comfortable living conditions for your pet. After all, knowing how a cat perceives the world through its whiskers, you can avoid many problems, from stress during feeding to discomfort during play. Let's start with the most interesting part. Cat whiskers are not ordinary hairs. They are 2 to 3 times thicker than regular fur and have roots deep in the skin, where they are surrounded by numerous nerve endings and blood vessels. Essentially, each whisker is a hypersensitive antenna connected directly to the cat's brain. The most noticeable whiskers are located on the muzzle and are called mestacial vibrissae. Usually there are 24 of them, 12 on each side arranged in 4 rows. But this is just the beginning. Cats also have superciliary vibrissae above the eyes, zygomatic on the cheeks, chin whiskers, and even whiskers on their paws. Yes, those tufts of stiff hairs that you might notice on the back of your cat's front paws are also vibrissae, helping it determine the position of prey during hunting. Interesting fact, the length of a cat's whiskers is usually equal to the width of its body. This is not a coincidence. This proportion allows the cat to instantly determine whether it will fit through an opening, simply by touching its edges with whiskers. If the whiskers pass freely, the body will pass too. No getting stuck or awkward situations. One veterinarian told a story about a cat who, after having its whiskers trimmed, which by the way should absolutely never be done, constantly got stuck in its favorite hole under the sofa. Without its natural rulers, it simply couldn't properly assess the width of the passage. Now let's figure out exactly how cats use vibrissae to determine distances. It all starts with the fact that each whisker is surrounded by a special capsule filled with fluid and permeated with nerve endings. This structure is called a follicular sinus complex, a true marvel of natural engineering. When a whisker touches something or even just oscillates from air movement, this vibration is transmitted to the fluid in the capsule, which in turn stimulates the nerve endings. The signal is instantly transmitted to the cat's brain, where it is processed in a special vibrissae center, an area that occupies a disproportionately large part of the feline brain. This system is so sensitive that a cat can determine the difference in an object's position with an accuracy of 1/10 of a millimeter. For comparison, the human eye distinguishes objects with an accuracy of about 1/10 of a millimeter only at the distance of best vision. And a cat does this with its whiskers in complete darkness. Researchers from the University of Zurich conducted an experiment in which blindfolded cats had to find a hole in a wall using only their vibrissae. The results were amazing. The animals completed the task with 98% accuracy. But how exactly does a cat determine distance using whiskers? Several mechanisms work here simultaneously. First, triangulation, the same principle used in GPS navigation. By touching an object with different whiskers simultaneously, the cat gets several contact points and builds a 3-dimensional model of space based on this data. Second, measuring the bending force of the whisker. The further from the base the contact occurs, the more the whisker bends, and the more intense the signal sent to the brain. This allows the cat not only to detect an obstacle, but also to estimate the distance to it. Third, active probing. Cats can voluntarily move their whiskers back and forth. This process is called vibrissae probing, obtaining tactile information similar to how we feel objects with our fingers. Imagine, your cat wakes up in the middle of the night in complete darkness. It needs to walk across a room full of furniture without hitting anything or making noise. How does it do this? Its eyes, although adapted to night vision, cannot see in absolute darkness. Vibrissae come to the rescue. Moving forward, the cat constantly scans the space with its whiskers, which detect the slightest changes in air movement reflecting off objects. This allows it to create a map of the room without physically touching objects. In essence, the cat sees space with its whiskers. One biologist studying cat behavior conducted an experiment in his home. He changed the furniture arrangement in the dark and observed how his cat moved around the room. Even during the first pass through the changed space, the cat flawlessly avoided all obstacles, moving as if it could see in the dark. All thanks to information received from the vibrissae. Vibrissae are especially important for a cat during hunting. When prey is already caught and is between the paws, the cat cannot always see it well. The muzzle simply does not allow looking straight down. Here, the vibrissae on the muzzle and paws come to the rescue, transmitting accurate information about the prey's position. Experiments have shown that if a cat's whiskers are temporarily taped down, which I repeat should absolutely never be done, its hunting success decreases by 70%. It misses the prey, incorrectly estimates the distance for jumping, and may even experience difficulties eating food. Interesting fact, cats use their vibrissae even while eating and drinking. Have you ever observed how a cat drinks water? Its whiskers slightly touch the surface of the liquid, helping to determine its level. This allows the cat to drink neatly without immersing its muzzle in water. The same happens during eating. Vibrissae help the cat determine the position of food in the bowl. That's why many cats experience discomfort when they have to eat from a narrow, deep bowl. Their whiskers constantly touch the edges, causing excessive sensory stimulation. This condition has even been named whisker fatigue or vibrissae stress. If your cat often pulls food out of the bowl with its paw or constantly asks for more, even though the bowl is not empty, this might be the reason. The solution could be a wide, flat plate that won't irritate your pet's sensitive vibrissae. Another amazing ability of cat whiskers is determining wind speed and direction. Vibrissae are so sensitive that they detect the slightest air movements, allowing the cat to read air currents. This is especially useful during hunting, when it's necessary to determine which direction potential prey is approaching from. But that's not all. Cat whiskers can work as seismographs, detecting ground vibrations. There are many stories about cats starting to show anxiety several hours before an earthquake. Scientists suggest they sense preliminary micro-vibrations precisely because of their vibrissae. One seismologist from Japan even created an early earthquake warning system based on observing cat behavior. He installed cameras in volunteers' homes and developed an algorithm that recognizes characteristic changes in cat whisker movements before seismic activity. Cat vibrissae also play an important role in expressing emotions and communication. The position of the whiskers can tell a lot about your pet's mood. Relaxed, slightly sideways pointing whiskers indicate calmness and comfort. Whiskers pressed to the muzzle signal fear or aggression. And forward extended, curious whiskers show interest and readiness to play. By observing your cat's whisker position, you can better understand its emotional state and predict behavior. For example, If upon meeting a new person your cat's whiskers are pressed to its muzzle, it's better to postpone the introduction. And if the whiskers are directed forward at the sight of a new toy, it's the perfect time for play. It's important to know that cat whiskers periodically renew. They fall out and grow back, like regular fur. However, this process happens much more slowly, and usually no more than 1 or 2 whiskers fall out simultaneously. If you notice that your cat has lost many whiskers at once, this is cause for concern and a reason to consult a veterinarian, as it may be a sign of stress or illness. Never, under any circumstances, should you trim a cat's whiskers. It's like depriving a human of their sense of touch. Without its vibrissae, a cat becomes disoriented, insecure, may experience dizziness, and even fall into depression. Imagine suddenly being deprived of one of your main senses. That's approximately what a cat experiences without whiskers. One Persian cat owner told how after a show where a groomer trimmed her pet's whiskers for a more aesthetic appearance, the cat refused to come out from under the bed for 2 weeks, couldn't eat normally, and constantly bumped into objects. It took several months for the whiskers to grow back and for the cat to return to normal life. Interestingly, vibrissae can vary in length and stiffness among different cat breeds. Maine Coons, for example, usually have longer and thicker whiskers than Siamese cats, corresponding to their larger build. And Sphynx cats, contrary to popular belief, do have whiskers. They're just shorter and thinner than their furry counterparts. Scientists from the University of Pennsylvania conducted a study comparing vibrissae of different cat breeds and found that the length and thickness of whiskers directly correlate with body size and the breed's lifestyle. Active hunting breeds usually have longer and more sensitive whiskers than more relaxed domestic cats. Another amazing fact: cats can voluntarily disconnect signals from their vibrissae when information becomes excessive. For example, during fast running or jumping, when whiskers detect too much data about air movement, a cat can temporarily ignore these signals to focus on other aspects of movement. This is similar to how we stop noticing the ticking of a clock in a room or the noise of a computer fan. Our brain filters constant, unchanging signals. The cat's brain does the same thing, but much more efficiently, and can turn this filtering on and off at will. To summarize, we can say that cat vibrissae are an amazing multifunctional tool that allows our furry friends to determine distances with the highest precision, navigate in space, hunt in darkness, express emotions, and even predict natural disasters. These thin hairs are a true miracle of evolution, giving cats a sixth sense that humans lack. Thanks to vibrissae, cats perceive the world completely differently than we do, more volumetrically, in detail, and informatively. Understanding the role of whiskers in your cat's life will help you create more comfortable conditions, choose the right feeding bowl, organize space so that it can freely use its sensory abilities, and, of course, never trim these essential sensory organs. What do you think about cat whiskers? Have you noticed how your pet uses them in everyday life? Perhaps you have interesting observations or stories related to your cat's vibrissae. Share them in the comments. I'm very interested to learn about your observations. If you liked this video and learned something new about your furry friend, don't forget to like it. This will help more cat lovers learn about the amazing abilities of their pets. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell to not miss new fascinating videos about our purring companions. And be sure to share this video with your cat-loving friends. Perhaps it will help them better understand their pets. In upcoming episodes, we will continue to reveal the amazing secrets of feline perception and tell you about another unique feature of our furry friends that will make you look at them in a completely new way. Believe me, many surprises await you. Remember, Every time you see your cat carefully measuring a passage with its whiskers or freezing with vibrissae extended forward, you are observing one of the most perfect sensory systems in the animal world at work. Appreciate these moments. They provide a glimpse into how your pet sees the world.